You're listening to Iceland News Review, the weekly news podcast of Iceland Review. Subscribe and tune in each Friday to get the latest from our fair shores. I'm Andy Sophia Fontaine, and these are the week's top stories in Iceland. First up on Iceland News Review, Reykjanes erupts as presidential elections look to be the most dramatic in decades. As you probably know, we have a very good early warning system in Iceland when it comes to volcanic eruptions. Measuring land rising, magma deposits, and seismic activity all give scientists the data they need to be able to tell when an eruption may be imminent. That began to happen on Wednesday morning as seismic activity began to significantly increase northeast of Sillingafell on the Reykjanes Peninsula, an area where a magma deposit of some 20 million cubic meters was known to be. The nearby Blue Lagoon was closed and the town of Grindavik was evacuated. Sure enough, at around 12:45 that day, lava began to erupt from the ground in a fissure eruption that at its peak grew to 2.5 kilometers long. This marks the fifth such eruption in the area since last December. Lava covered the roads of Grindavíkurvegur and Nesvegur, but earthen walls that had been constructed to protect Grindavik from lava flow did their jobs. No other infrastructure was damaged, and even gas emissions have been minimal. Now, fissure eruptions typically mean just lava plumes and some gas pollution. They're still dangerous areas to visit, of course, because of those two things and more, but giant clouds of ash, as we saw in the 2010 Eyjafjallajökull eruption, are typically not a part of the equation. Explosive ash cloud eruptions are most likely to happen with eruptions that occur under glaciers, as was the case with Eyjafjallajökull. There were some ash clouds, though, in this particular instance. This was a bit surprising, but explained by the lava reaching groundwater. Don't panic, though. This was not enough ash to cause any major disruptions, and flights to and from Keflavik International Airport are operating normally. At the time of this reporting, the eruption is still chugging along, but has decreased slightly in intensity. We will nonetheless keep you updated, and if you want a real closer look, check out the video of our visit to the eruption area on our site, icelandreview.com. Next up, presidential elections in Iceland will be held tomorrow, and it will probably be the most dramatic one since 1980, when Vigdís Finnbogadóttir became the world's first woman to be democratically elected to head of state. As it stands right now, two polls, one from Maskína and the other from Prósent, show former Prime Minister Katrín Jakobsdóttir and businesswoman Halla Tómasdóttir virtually tied. Halla, who had been polling in single digits until earlier this month, has risen dramatically up the polls in recent weeks, while Katrín's numbers have been slowly waning. Meanwhile, Energy Director Halla Hrund Logadóttir, who was soaring ahead of the pack earlier this month, is close on their heels at third, followed by political scientist Baldur Þórhallsson and former Reykjavik Mayor Jón Gnarr. A few things to note here. Whoever wins, the top three candidates being women could mean that our next president will be Iceland's second female president since 1996, when Vigdís ended her term in office. That Katrín and Halla Tómasdóttir should be polling this well is not surprising. Katrín has been a well-known figure in politics for a long time now, and was prime minister from 2017. Halla is no slouch either. She also ran for president in 2016, and not only came in second as a relative unknown, she got more than twice the votes of former Prime Minister Davíð Oddsson. So with all that in mind, tomorrow is going to be quite a showdown to be sure. We have a handy election guide on our site where you can read interviews with the top 5 candidates. Stay tuned for the results tomorrow. A group of protesters began a sit-in at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs yesterday, citing the lack of a clear stance and inaction from the Icelandic government over Israel's ongoing siege of Gaza. The protesters do not hail from a single organization, but are rather a group of Icelanders of different backgrounds who want the government to take action. As one of the protesters, Salva Gullbrand, told reporters, quote, "It's very clear that the Icelandic public wants a ceasefire in Palestine and supports Palestinian people. This is apparent in various surveys that have been conducted about the public's dissatisfaction when Iceland abstained on a ceasefire vote last October." End quote. The protesters have asked for a meeting with Foreign Minister Þórdís Kolbrún Reykfjörð Gylfadóttir and have the following demands. Number 1, that trade sanctions be imposed on the State of Israel. Number 2, that Iceland sever diplomatic relations with the State of Israel. Number 3, that Iceland support South Africa's lawsuit against Israel before the International Court of Justice. And number 4, that the Minister of Foreign Affairs initiated discussion on coordinated actions with the Nordic countries, Ireland, and Spain. This last point is due to the fact that Norway, Ireland, and Spain have recently officially recognized Palestine as a state, something Iceland did in 2011. If you've ever been to Iceland, you may have noticed that you won't find alcohol for sale in grocery stores, gas stations, or other private enterprises apart from pubs, clubs, and restaurants. Side note, that's right, that beer you've seen for sale in grocery stores has little to no alcohol in it. Read the label. Anyways, if you want to buy liquor, beer, or wine in Iceland, you have to go to a government-run alcohol store to do so. Why? Well, the long-standing contention is that restricting retail sales of alcohol to state-run stores is a public health position, regardless of the fact that you can buy alcohol from virtually any restaurant, cafe, or club. However, there are loopholes. The European Economic Area, which Iceland is a part of, allows for the online sale of alcohol, and Icelanders have been fond of ordering brands that they can't get in this country from any number of websites. Recently, the supermarket chain Hagkaup announced that they would allow customers to order alcohol from their online shop, after which these orders could be picked up from their stores. This was not well received by Minister of Health William Thor Thorsson, who believes this is basically just selling alcohol in a grocery store with extra steps. Politically, this is a divisive issue and has been for decades. Parties from the center to the left have typically opposed the private sale of alcohol, while conservatives favor liberalization. What will come of Hagkaup's plan remains to be seen. Police in Akureyri were called to apprehend someone trespassing in a residential backyard. The trespasser in question was a young pig. Police were able to catch the pig, but they were unable to identify the owner. What they know is that the pig is likely being kept in someone's home. Iceland actually has some pretty strict laws when it comes to the keeping of pigs, and so-called house pigs require great care. Individuals, for example, must notify the Food and Veterinary Authority if more than 2 adult pigs or more than 20 piglets are being housed together at any given time. In any event, the police posted a photo of the pig in question to their Facebook page in hopes of attracting the attention of its owner to come collect the animal. Lastly, on Iceland News Review, it's that time of year again. Time for the city of Reykjavik to ask people to stop feeding the ducks bread. Any visitor to Reykjavik has probably strolled along Tjörnin Pond, where many ducks, geese, and swans like to congregate. As such, feeding them bread is a popular activity. The city is imploring people not to do this for a few reasons. First of all, the ducks at Tjörnin already have enough food to eat. Second, the bread also tends to attract black-backed gulls. These birds can be aggressive and are known to feed on ducklings. Third, the bread itself may pollute the water of Tjörnin, not only directly, but also in attracting more bird life, which increases the nutrients in the water. This increases nutrients, in turn, increases microbial life and begins depleting the oxygen in the water. If you absolutely must feed the ducks, the city advises giving them grains, seeds, oats, leftover salad leaves, and cooked rice instead of bread. Next up, the weather this weekend. Friday will see rain across the country, albeit with warm temperatures, especially in the east. These conditions will persist into the evening, with the exceptions of the southeast and the northwest, which may see some sun peeking through. Come Saturday, rain will persist through the southern half of Iceland, but the north should see mostly to partly sunny skies. On Sunday, there may be some clouds and scattered showers in the southwest, while sunny in the rest of the country, but those clouds should disappear by late afternoon, bringing sunny skies, warm temperatures, and light winds to the whole country. As for road conditions, bear in mind that all roads into the highlands are closed to regular traffic, so don't try heading up there unless you're in a glacier tour group or something similar. Also, bear in mind that the eruption area is closed to visitors. Apart from that, road conditions are fair all along the coastline. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or X. For all your travel needs in Iceland, be sure to visit n.veður.is. That's en.vedur.is, as well as road.is and safetravel.is. Through these 3 websites, you'll get up-to-the-minute information on weather and road conditions, as well as possible incoming natural events. By staying updated through these sites, you'll not only save yourself a lot of time and money, you'll also be able to enjoy Iceland with peace of mind. That's all for me this week on Iceland News Review. Be good to each other.